You Can Become a Hero by Orphaned Account on AU3. Episode 13, Chapter 9, The Harsh Truth. Dabi checked the note once before heading down a dark, unfamiliar alley. It was near Hawks' apartment. Only a 10-minute walk. His hands were stuffed into his pocket coat, fingers touching the paper to ground himself as he continued to head to the deepest part of the alley. No one pausing by, being able to see him. Now, all he had to do was wait. He was about to reach for a cigar, but stopped when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned to greet the slender, but came face to face with Hawks as he awkwardly waddled through the trash in the alley. "Hawks, what are you doing here?" "You are supposed to stick with me," Hawks huffed. "I flew over here in order to find you. What are you doing back here?" "I came back here for a quick smoke." Hawks gave him a look and shook his head, waddling until he was less than a foot away. "As injured as you are? Idiot." Hawks shook his head. Dabi shrugged, not moving as the hero reached forward to cup his cheek. He smoothed his hand, and it was confident as it gazed around his scabs, unwavering as some of his skin flaked off into the palm of his hand. The thumb traced at one of the holes in his skin that was now missing a staple, and he sighed. Dabi didn't move from the hero's grasp, instead simply trying to relax his jaw. "What you need is to come back home with me and rest," Hawks mumbled. "Forget about being here and whatever the hell you were up to. Don't you want to be by me?" "What?" Dabi frowned, pulling back to give Hawks a strange look. The winged hero's touch somehow seemed to burn, as though he was hallucinating, and had actually set his face on fire in the process. Hawks, who only stepped forward to hold him closer, didn't seem to care about the reaction one bit. "What's wrong?" Hawks asked, eyebrows furrowed in a way that sort of comforted Dabi. It was just like Hawks to be worried and to be so gentle when caressing his scars, but it was so unlike him to be so close. His hips lightly grazed against Dabi's, and his chest firm against the other's healing one. It was intimate, something that made his stomach churn every which way. "We should go home." "In a moment." His tone was firm, his honey eyes narrowed as little as he gazed down to Dabi's lips. He began to lean in. Dabi's eyes fluttered close, trying to snuff out the embers burning inside of him so he wouldn't burn the hero. However, his lips only met a gloved hand pushed out aggressively towards him. He stumbled back a step, watching as Hawks stumbled away, leaning towards the other side of the alley as he gagged. The flames all died within him as Hawks muttered out a series of, "Oh my god, I can't fucking do it. Nope, that's gross. Ew." Dabi's heart froze as the hero reached, shaking his head wildly in protest as he stumbled away. He could feel his organs shutting down, or something like that. Everything began to hurt, even though all of his pain medications. It was as if those funny, fluffy feelings within him began to die. "Ugh, disgusting!" Hawks gasped, wiping his glove off his pants. He glanced back over to Dabi and sighed, bringing his hand to his face to shield himself from the disgusting features of the ex-villain. "Sorry, I can't do it. You understand, right?" Dabi didn't even know if he could speak. Luckily, he didn't have to. With ease, Hawks began to melt, turning into slush that spilled all over the ground. He watched in horror as Toga's face emerged from the sludge until she stood before him, naked and gagging, still at the thought of doing something as gross as kissing him. Dabi shielded his eyes as she grabbed a pile of clothes she had hidden, putting her clothes back on in the middle of the alleyway as she sighed. "Chicken wanted to know how far you've gone? I'd say a lot. I expected you to try to burn my face off, but ew, did not want to get that close to you. Let me tell you that." "I was supposed to meet with Face Man," Dabi growled, pulling out the note in his pocket to point to the man's signature. "He was busy," Toga shrugged. "But he does have things for you." Dabi grunted, watching as Toga pulled out a black bag from behind the dumpster, grinning. Now, I told him that even if you were whipped for a chicken, one thing would never change. You still dislike Endeavor, right? Fuck if it matters. Dabi hissed. Just get to the point before I start getting angry. The teenager rolled her eyes, pushing some strands of hair out of her face. She leaned down and patted the box, a grin stretching over her lips. We have a task for you. You do this for us, and no one will even know. You could keep living in that lavish little apartment, and we will tear the rug out from Endeavor just for you. Clearly, she had never seen the apartment, if that was her idea of luxurious. Scoffing, Dabi lit up a cigarette to fill the aching void inside of him, his mind replaying over and over again Hawks's face, twisting as he stared dead into Dabi's eyes. Endeavor's changed, Dabi murmured, trying to keep himself focused. He's not as bad anymore. He's trying. Uh-huh. Toga pulled out a magazine article and tossed it over. Dabi caught it with ease and glared at the headline, hands clutching on the paper in seconds. It was an old paper, one he recognized easily, even though he knew it was from the past. Still, the claim of Endeavor speaking out about his dead son Toya annoyed him greatly. He was already in a fragile state, and even seeing something way from the past was enough to stop him in his tracks. In moments, the flames within him rose up and burnt the paper. Endeavor was a pile of shit, through and through. Hawks wasn't much better. Despite it all, he was a monster in his eyes, a disfigured, repulsive piece of flesh. Stepping forward, Dabi snagged the case, flames licking the hand. Toga grinned, watching as her partner's eyes seemed to be as alive as the flames emerging from his fingertips. All that you need to know is in the bag. Toga smiled, stepping out of the way as she began heading towards the street once more. It's good to have you back. Shut the hell up. Dabi snapped over the pile of slime sticking to the asphalt. His chest tightened when Toga called out once more, before slipping red. Red doesn't suit you. Dabi set the bag down on the rooftop of the apartment building to look on later. He stumbled into the apartment soon after, heading straight to the bathroom. Hawks waved to him where he sat on the couch, a bowl of dry zero in his hands. Welcome back. Where's the milk? Don't talk to me. Dabi slammed the bathroom door behind him. His hands darted to the cupboards, throwing them open urgently. There was a lot of bottles, but mainly for pet birds. A few girly products and makeup pens. He snagged the black one, forcing it open before attempting to coat some of his red strands black again. It didn't work. The pen only tainted his trembling fingers as he threw the pen to the wall and went back and searching. Nowhere else was coated black. But he did find an old, dingy shaver. Hands fumbling, he plunged it in. However, upon turning the on switch, he realized it was broken. Screaming out a curse, he yanked the plug out and threw it to the ground, raking a hand through his infected hair. Yes, it was contaminated and needed to go. Now. This was no longer who he was. It was who he couldn't be. He isn't Toya. He shouldn't have red hair. He never had red hair. It needed to fucking go right now. Hey, buddy, are you okay? We can go sit down. Hawks cooed as he entered the room. He had that stupid fucking expression he always did when things like this happened. The mock concern gracing his features never looked more repulsive than right now. It wasn't right, and when his hands, once cool and comforting, touched his arm, Dabi could feel the flame dart up, singeing Hawk's hands without remorse. Don't fucking touch me! Dabi roared, blue flames filling his vision. Dobbs, you need to calm down, Hawk said, kneeling down to meet his gaze. Since when did he get onto the floor? Why was his head spinning? You're gonna mess up the graphs. Come on, let's just breathe. It shocked Dabi as he saw Hawks begin to reach over to him with his hand, the burns evident on his palm. Still, he did nothing to ease his flames, even as he felt the skin beginning to protest, searing pain filling down his arms. And then it all faded, as he felt a sharp pain in his temple, falling out of conscious. Dabi woke up with fresh bandages around his body. Hawks was sitting in front of him, holding an ice pack to his forehead with a frown. Unprompted, Hawks filled him in on the situation. I knocked you out. How long was I out? 15 minutes? Hawks murmured, dropping the ice. As the cold faltered, Dabi could feel the pain from Hawks's fist and frowned, closing his eyes. Fun. Fun is a word? Hawks frowned, setting the bag down. What happened at the store? Someone say something? Before Dabi could come up with some shitty excuse, Hawks continued on. Though I don't exactly buy the whole milk thing. We have half a gallon in the fridge, and when you left, you went in the opposite direction of the convenience store? Wanted to take a walk. Dabi grumbled. Hawks didn't stop glaring. You don't have to lie to me. You can choose what you tell me, but don't lie. Fine. I wasn't getting milk. Fucking happy? I'd be happier if you weren't snapping at me, and if you didn't almost burn yourself to death on my floor. Dabi winced at the sharpness in his tone, but in turn rolled his eyes, trying his best to put on the most annoyed expression he could think of. They sat in silence for a while before Hawks's wings opened, stretching their massive flame. The tips of his feathers at the bottom row flinched a little as the owner of them spoke again. Sit there and don't move. I'm upset. Suddenly, 6 feathers floated and grabbed a bag. They pulled out a few items from the bag, one of which caught Dabi's eyes immediately. It was a container of black hair dye. A better kind than he used to buy himself when in the League too. It was that fancy one that promised the color to last a month on end, possibly a year if he'd stretched out times between showers. Hawks didn't move an inch, instead summoning more feathers to assist the others, draping a towel around Dabi's shoulders, and smoothing the top of his head to dye black. It was messy, but based on the look he was receiving from the hero, it was intentional. What did I do? Hawks asked, finally, as the feathers kept working. Dabi huffed and looked away, a feather rushing to catch the drip of black dye that would have been scattered all over the couch. We were doing fine, right? Why are you mad at me? I'm not mad. Bullshit! You burned a hole in my floor and wall in the bathroom. You threw my shit around. If you have so much of an issue with that, Dabi murmured, a grin slowly working onto his lips as he met Hawks's gaze. Might as well toss me out now. You should have expected the worst when taking me in. Every day you have to keep sheltering out money because of me, or keep ruining your own career to help me evade jail for a few more days. The smart choice would be to just get the source of all your problems out of your life as soon as possible. So do it, Mr. Hero. You'll save yourself. Hawk shook his head. One of these days, you're gonna find yourself in even hotter waters. Why wait for that day to come? Dabi hummed. Just off me now, Birdie. You have the balls to do it, don't you? You are deranged if you think I'm going to kill you or kick you out because of a fucking breakdown. You aren't some sort of problem that needs to be solved or tossed aside to deal when I get around to it, Dobbs. You are a person. And you can't keep messing things up or burning up the very foundation of this apartment. But that's not going to change anything. Have a bad day. Happens to all of us. The feathers in his hair were rough and coarse in the beginning, but as Hawk spoke, his tone lightened, and so did the feathers. And that's okay. No matter what you find yourself in or how horrible things get, I've got you. It's only fair. You've been helping me more than I have with you. Bullshit. That's utter bullshit. Why the fuck did any of that matter? Dabi bowed his head, his eyes burning. Did those shitty feathers get dye in his eyes? They burned so badly, he couldn't lift them to see what Hawks was doing. He could hear him standing up, but what was he doing? Was he gonna kill him? Good. He needed to. It wasn't safe for him to be around him. Dabi was first and foremost a monster. Destroying was his second nature. No matter where he turned, he could hear the gasps and pleads and Shock's citizens praying that he would go away, that the deformed monster would go back to hiding. And then there was the League, the only ones who accepted him into their ensemble with open arms right away. And yes, He knew he would have to explain himself to Fuyumi and Shoto and Natsuo at some point, try to make sense to them as why he became what he is, and why no number of family dinners together could change it. It was funny to imagine a family dinner after he opened whatever was in that case on that rooftop, whatever Shigaraki left him. It wasn't good. It had to be something only he could do, something that only he could be entrusted to a true freak. Can I touch you? Dabi didn't answer. Hawks touched him anyways, placing 2 fingers on Dabi's chin. He tilted the villain's head up, eyes fluttering closed. His soft lips pressed against his cheek, right at the seam, holding there for a few seconds before pulling away. You can't fool me into thinking you have no good left in you. I've seen it, and it's beautiful. The feathers untangled from his hair, and Hawk stepped away, heading into the kitchen. Keep that in for 30 minutes. I'll come help you watch it off. Okay. That was not that bad. Chapter 10 is, our world. Summary, I had writer's block, so this is bad, but you know, ooh, I feel that. Writer's blocks be hitting my ass, too. Okay, I have no words. Actually have no words. Genuinely have no words. Normally I have words, but I don't have words. I thought Dabi would leave and not come back at all. So, glad he came back. It could have gone worse. I hope he never finds out what Shigaraki left him. Right? I hope Dabi chooses to be good. But I feel like it's gonna be one of those cases of it gets worse before it gets better. So, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.